Greetings, I am D.Lorina and thank you for stopping by. I wanted to just talk about the last year and why I have been so silent from the social media. Now, I started a platform called the Sisters Forum 19 and it was going really good until I started to slack a little, I would say, with regards to the scripture studies. So it was something I wanted to continue doing, and I knew to continue doing regardless of whatever's going on around me. And it just so happened that whatever was going on around me took more of a center stage than me remaining focused. So there's a saying in the scripture in the Holy Quran that the fallen angel was so disappointed with God that he promised God that he will come for those on their straight path, and he will come from the left, he will come from the right, he will come from behind and in front, and he will get all of them, right, to deviate and or fail, barring the purified ones. So God promised him and said, so be it, but they will all endure hell with you, right? So when we're talking about forces, we're talking about that which tries to steer you off the path you know to go on. You don't understand why this is something you have to do, but you just have to do it, right? And you know it's good because it gives you a good feeling, although that which is not good also does, but it's a short-lived good feeling. Whereas this one is not temporary and it's abundant, i.e. it opens doors to other things, that adds to the goodness. So where am I going with this, basically? The situation that arose whilst I was doing my scripture studies meant that people would not join in when they were supposed to join in, but they would want to call me personally afterwards. And when you're in the spirit, it is very draining, right? It's just the same like teaching. You've got to do your homework, you've got to write down your notes, and then you've got to speak. It's all exhausting, especially when you're speaking from the top of your head, right? And that's how I was doing my scripture studies, which I really enjoyed. But the whole idea for it was for everyone else to join in. And I just knew personally to continue, but I hadn't. When I went away on holiday, I decided to give it a rest, but I really should have picked it back up. Anyhow, moving on, it's been a few years since then, and last year I did Ramadan. It was a really good observance, and I was able to do a little bit of running in between and really stick to it, really get back into my prayers, reading the Holy Quran within the 7 days, getting back on track. But again, you've got that force that's always there wanting to steer you off. And the force that I always encounter mostly is emotional, because since I've been unwell, I've been having to deal with my emotions. I always look at my life from an observatory point of view. And so I always analyze, or I see myself as the third party in my own situation. So to be in center stage and knowing that this is something I need to learn to deal with was very hard. Very hard, but I was doing my best to be as truthful as I could to myself, and point out to myself where I could go drastically wrong, and work with myself to keep focused on that which is right. So part of it was having to stay away from social media, because where I am in my hearts of hearts, those who I was interacting with were not there with me spiritually. They may have been there with me in terms of status or, the works that we're doing, but spiritually, excuse me. Right, so you have to excuse me. I have a screamer in the back there and I just heard something pop. So I had to go and check. Right, so I was saying that what um, took me off social media was all the interacting and knowing where people's levels were and feeling disrespected in the conversations that were coming. And I was on the social media to promote the Sisters Forum 19, to promote D.Cream bow ties, to promote the Goddess Challenge that I've got there. And I just felt that whatever culture has been developed in among the social media, that's not the culture that I want to adopt when I'm on social media. And so I had to remove myself from interacting with everybody and anyone. If anyone got blocked, if anyone decided to block me, I wasn't chasing, I wasn't sending any messages, I wasn't, and I say block me because people would treat me as though they're treating some fool, some random fool. And so this here, I'm not glued to. I'm not stuck to it. It's not stuck to me. This goes down somewhere and I'm doing whatever I'm doing. And I do not have this on a bleeper, right? So if there's notifications that come in, I do not receive it. When I decide to go into the app, then I do. And even then, I didn't have the app on. And so I'm here trying to, well, I wouldn't say trying, but I'm here to cultivate that which is within. And so I still need to live. I still need to find a way to generate money for myself. And so the social media is the way to do it. And I would tell myself as well, well, that's look at who uses these things. Of course you're gonna receive that type of, response. And so staying away as well. I used to be in a lot of pain. I was getting a lot of pain here. And I thought it was all emotional, but it wasn't emotional. I actually am a person with a medical condition that was failed to be said to me from back in 2022, which was diagnosed then. And no one told me, but I knew what I was feeling within my body. And I put some of it down to being emotional or, but I just knew that the pain I first started getting in the heart was a heart thing, I suffer with asthma and I know when my lungs are filled because I've had fluid in my lungs before. And it wasn't. When I took a deep breath, because there was pressure here and it would never go away. And I'd take a deep breath and I knew my lungs were being filled. I knew it wasn't my lungs. Although I couldn't take my asthma pump, I still had pneumonia. I had a bug in the lungs. And so I could feel every part of my body that was not well, right? And I didn't realize just how, I don't want to speak it, but just what condition my heart was actually in. And it had been, I had flutters, like really deep flutters, right? And all of that. And I honest to God, did not know that was related to my heart. Did not know it was related to my heart. It started to come back up again. So what was going on was that I started doing a lot of fasting, a lot of detox. My body was going through a lot of changes and I lost a lot of weight and I wanted to actually lose more. I went down to 7.5 stones. I'm just under 5'5". So my frame is small and I wanted to go down to 5.5 stones. I really did. I felt that I could do it. But what happened is my body just did something really odd. As I'm sitting here now, I was sitting in the month of November, and I noticed that I had swelling in my ankles, and it was happening day after day, night after night. So I put it down to, I haven't slept, I'm drinking more water, because and I was actually fasting. So I was drinking more tea and all of that because it was very cold. And the legs were looking disfigured, and I did feel like a prick before I noticed the legs. And I always said to myself, no, not me. But lo and behold, it started getting worse. It was getting tight. Again, it was Ramadan, because we observe Ramadan in the month of December too. And it was the second day in Ramadan. I finished my prayers, and I can remember my ankle feeling tight as I'm bending down, prostrating, kneeling. And I went to drink a glass of water, and no word of a lie, my body just went and I just felt the body filling up. And that's how it felt back in 2012, when I had an adverse reaction to medications, and I had taken some medications the weekend before, over the counter medication. You see, we still have to be careful what we are taking, because although you're supposed to have a pharmacist behind the counter, nowadays you don't have a pharmacist behind the counter. You ask for something and they'll just give you. And so, like you're purchasing goods. And so, what I had was an allergic reaction to grapes like a month prior. And then I had a reaction to the medication that I bought. And so, what I felt it did was that, on top of whatever else was happening, it just triggered a crazy domino with my body. I put on so much weight. I was just filling with fluid. My gut, my face, everywhere, everywhere. And only, I would say, in the last 2 weeks, I'm slowly coming down. I had a night where, and I took the pictures, but I deleted them off my phone. I think I've uploaded them on a key, where my legs looked back to normal. But it's not there again. It's very much thick, and yeah, it's not where it's supposed to be. Anyhow, in doing so, I've been doing my best to wait out the illness, and see how I could best help myself. It's been crazy. It's been crazy. I've managed to record some of the things that I was going through. I couldn't even cry, because of what it would do, because crying raises your blood pressure. But where I was, like my head and my chest, yeah, it was a crazy, 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 crazy experience these last 3 months, 4 months, if anything. It's been a challenging, I'd say since October, it's been a challenging set of months. But December, my body did something so crazy, and every time I talk about it, I want to cry, because I knew where I could have gone. And God spared my life yet again. But this time around, it was completely different. When I lost consciousness back in 2019 and had a seizure, I wasn't scared. all I said to Allah, to God, was, I'm not ready to go. I got too much work to do. And I knew I was out, but I was with my ex-husband. Although I didn't trust him, I still trusted him, if you catch my drift. And I had given him a set of instructions before I blacked out. But I could feel myself fading, and this is why I called on God and I said, I'm not ready to go. I'm not ready to go. The next time was just when the lockdown happened. I didn't want to go to hospital because I just had a feeling that if I went, I wouldn't come out alive. And so I just knew that whatever I was dealing with, I'm gonna have to fight it at home. And I didn't know what it was. I just thought I caught a draft a few weeks before, and it's just broken down my immunity. And with all what's happening, I didn't want to be under the thing of COVID, because I was getting sick from before then. And I wanted to know what my issue was. And I fought the illness. And then my separation happened, completely. Because of how I was feeling, I couldn't manage anything else that wanted to come my way that I felt was unnecessary, right? And my wishes were not being adhered to, being really sick. So I had to make a decision, and I made one. And was just trying to get the best help as possible throughout what was happening. And in 2022, an investigation was conducted, and I was not told what was happening. I was told to my face that nothing is wrong. And I left that hospital, one, mad, and two, highly upset. I was crying. I was mad with my mother, and I was crying to my cousin. Why was I mad with my mother? Because she knew of the appointment and she failed to tell me her diagnosis, right? And I believe that she thought I was just making it up. And I think she heard how angry I was on the phone for not knowing that information that I felt was very vital to pass on to the doctor, the consultant. And then I spoke to my cousin to vent and to have a cry, because I waited years for that appointment, for someone to turn around and tell me nothing's wrong. And I know what my pain is. I know what I'm feeling. I know my pain. And they still conducted the cardioechogram. They gave me a shorter time. They gave me 45 minutes and they gave someone else near enough an hour. And why I know is because the nurse that was learning asked the lady, why do they have the same thing and she's got shorter time and this person doesn't? And these people sat on my results for 2 months. The GP had to threaten it. And in getting the information back to me, the GP that called me failed to tell me what the diagnosis was. So I've been in total pain this last year, experiencing that with emotions, which obviously brought on the pain as well. Not being able to put things in place because of where I was just December, January time. It's like I don't want to leave nothing to my parents or my siblings when it comes to me. I want to make sure that all of that is covered. And to me, that's important. And I could have done that back in 2022. I could have done that. When I went to university, I could have said to them, well, this is my predicament. This is my issue, so I could get some help. You know, oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. And now, I'm going to start from scratch again. I have no choice but to. But this time I'm going to make sure I get what I deserve. It has not been easy. It has been a struggle. I've been treated as though I'm able to do all the things that other people are able to do, and I'm not. I'm not. My quality of life is restricted. Where I go is restricted. I can't move far. I can only move as far as I walk. Right? And the furthest that I have walked in terms of time uh, is an hour and 20 minutes. And I wouldn't go beyond that because I still have to do that coming back. So that used to be to the GP, and I've changed them now to the people closest to me. Tops, depending on my speed, I'm getting there in 10 minutes. So yeah, that's why I came off social media. I had to look after my health and get myself to a certain point. We're still dealing with it, but for now, it's all systems go. I'm not letting nothing stop me because we really don't know what life has in store, and we don't know the time that we have here. And so I'm here to live it. I'm D.Lorina. Thank you for stopping by. Peace and good day.